So today's topic is web application security. So let me just give a short background about myself. So I am a passionate information security, network security professional, also a cybersecurity researcher, and I love to explore newer opportunities in this infosec domain, like touching every aspect of it. And currently, I'm working on the DevSecOps, you know, uh, DevSecOps, along with this supply chain security. So that is what the area that I'm currently focusing and wanting to explore more into. I'm also a cybersecurity awareness trainer at Secure Nexus. That's a organization that currently I'm working also. I'm also a lead speaker and trainer at InfoSec Girls and InfoSec Diversity, especially in Mumbai City. I'm also a technical writer. I love to write blogs about each unique finding that I'm able to identify in any of my pen tests. So I do write blogs and everything you can find. If you want to learn about the cyber attacks, you can actually view it on the link that has been provided. I will also share it in the chat box if you feel like. I'm also an international freelancing. I basically help organizations finding loopholes and you know. Help them fix those cyber attacks, the vulnerabilities, or also creating a defense mechanism so that they are actually well aware of what loopholes their application might have in their application, right? Also an instructor at SecureZ. If you guys wish like start your career in cybersecurity, you're always free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn ID. I've also mentioned my LinkedIn handler here, so you can connect with me, and then we can share thoughts, and maybe I can help you drive your career in cybersecurity. So that's just a short brief about myself. So the key takeaways from today's sessions would be you're going to understand the basic aspects of cybersecurity, all the small areas that we're going to touch today on the topic of web application security. You're going to understand what OAuth's top 10 is and what role it has to play in information security domain, right? How you can prepare yourself if you wish to perform a security testing on any of the web applications. What are the critical security vulnerabilities that are currently identified in many of the web applications around the world, and how actually to identify those particular instances and areas, right? You'll also receive a participation certificate at the end of this session, and if you wish, you can post it using tweet to the Twitter handler of SecureZHQ, which has been provided. Also, Jason has dropped that Twitter handler uh, of security in the chat box, so you can refer to that as well. So beginning to our session today, let's just understand what areas we're going to cover today. So we're going to understand the aspects of application security. We're going to understand why web application security is needed in this world. uh, what are the basic and major security flaws that are identified globally, and which are discovered almost on 80% of the web applications that are readily available on the internet, right? So we're going to understand what are the OAuth's top 10 categorization of security vulnerabilities as of 2021, right? So let's just begin today of understanding why web application security is important, how difficult it is to actually have security controls implemented in any of the web application. What are the challenges of implementing those security controls in any of the web applications, right? So we all know that today's world is a rapidly growing IT industries, right, with the evolving technologies, right? So we have n number of technologies that are evolving daily, right? We have Kubernetes, we have containers, we have each new language with each of these different integrations available. We have newer plugins that are coming, that are evolving today, and and so forth. We have so many technologies that are actually evolving with each and every day, right? With these evolving technologies, we also do have some of the other security vulnerabilities rising to it, right? Why? Because we are humans, right? And humans are tend to make mistakes in maybe not following appropriate code practices, not also having the awareness of writing this sort of piece of code could actually lead to a major security flaw, right? So we have those categorizations when it comes to why web application security is important, right? So there was this research done by Veracode where 83% of the total 85,000 applications were found vulnerable to the major security flaws. in the uh, in the web applications, right? And the remaining 70% of the application had at least one severe risk associated with it, right? So uh, actually there are also some of the other the developer operations divisions, right? So they are not aware of the security vulnerabilities, like they're not aware of the controls, right? They're not aware of they're not following the practice of having a secure code practices in place, right? They're also not aware of the training sessions that are globally conducted by various people, right? So they're not aware of that. So there is also a conflict between the productivity and the security balance, right? So there are those issues in place, right? So there are some process that are actually defined but are not enforced for the by the developers to actually have those in place, right? So you also have some of the other security architectural flaw, right? Whenever any organization actually design that they need to have so and so infrastructure for their organization, right? So they do not have a network architectural review in place that actually could you know help them identify if there could be a flaw in it, right? So those lacks of practices could lead to a security vulnerability, right? So why these vulnerabilities are rising? Because nowadays the applications are readily available on the internet, right? To whichever network device it is connected. So it could be a cloud, it could be an on-prem or anything, right? So you actually have a hold of the front end of the web application. That is actually quite enough for you to analyze and gather the information, maybe do a threat profiling to understand what all attack surfaces you could actually map to the security vulnerabilities. You could actually identify those areas like the weakness, the loopholes that could actually lead to a severe security vulnerabilities, right? So why you need to have application security in place? Because performing an security assessment could actually help reveal the loopholes, the weaknesses that the application possesses, and you could actually prevent those, right? By certain by following certain remediation on some practices, some control mechanisms. So you could actually fix those from getting a victim of any of the cyber attacks, right? So here are the list of few application security problems, right? The developers, they are not actually following the sets of policies and procedures. Maybe they're not standardized sometimes, maybe they're not reviewed. The company also don't follow the compliance framework, right, accurately when it comes to security part, right? The developer teams are not collaboratively having the code deployed at a central location, right? So having different places of storing the code could also lead a problem, right? Maybe having a mismatch when when there are certain third party plugins or components in use, right? So that could lead a problem. Not aware of having the right security tool in place could lead to a security problem, application security problem, of course. Not having certain features disabled, they are not actually in use, or which is not of of utmost importance, right? So having those vulnerable features in place could also lead to an application security problems, right? Having complex network architecture diagram could actually lead to a vulnerability, right? Bad programming practices, heavy use of payload encryption. We'll talk about payload encryption a little later in our upcoming slides, right? And there are some budget concerns when it comes to productivity, right? So here are a few application security problems, and let's move on to our next slide, that is OAuth's top 10. And let's understand what OAuth's top 10 is, right? So OAuth's top 10 is, I'm sorry. So OAuth's top 10 is a publicly shared standard awareness document, right, for the developers of the 10 most critical web application security vulnerabilities according to the foundation. So basically, this is a non-profitable organization which actually aims in focusing to help the website owners and the security experts all over the world to help protect the web applications from any cyber attack. So this organization, it keeps publishing the details of the vulnerabilities every 3 years and the remediations on how to mitigate those cyber attacks, right? So here are a few versions. The first version was released by OAP's Foundation in in 2003, and then they keep on upgrading it to 2007, 10, 14, 17, and currently the latest OAP's top 10 categorization of security vulnerabilities is 2021. So there are also certain other initiatives undertaken by OAPs, which are guidelines for mobile app testing, for cloud pen testing, and others as well, software assurance maturity model, development guide, and so on, right?